They fuck they
But,
want.
so
They
do you
could call.
think, no. But do you think it's right then? Because
I don't think it's.
No.
So today we're watching a show called Hate Thy Neighbor.
Race ever make you awkward? Never! You think you're racist? Sure. Why not? Never!
And it's by this guy called Jamali. He's like a comedian.
I'm not qualified for this role, I'll be honest with you.
Shout out Jamali.
Shout out Jamali. So in this episode of his show Hate Thy Neighbor, he goes to visit some neo-Nazis.
This is the blood of our people!
Was it?
Yeah.
A comedian?
Yeah.
He's out of his comfort zone.
The future of our race!
Well,
wait. Does he actually go and like
visit them? Yeah.
Okay.
Primates, negroids. Cats, Asians, mongoloids.
That's for the baby.
I am just a comedian.
Where do you find them? Like
Okay, mine
Facebook?
don't
I actually don't know where you find them. Do you
Where do you
message them on
find the
Facebook?
neo-Nazis?
Like how do you?
Alright.
If you know how to find a neo-Nazi, let
I
me
would
know.
love to do
No.
What, visit
No,
them?
let me
We could do
know.
that.
I feel like
Hello, ma'am. Lovely to meet you. I'm Jamali.
Sabrina.
Lovely to meet you, Sabrina.
My beautiful wife, that's the better half. Jamali.
Lovely to
Daniel.
meet you, Dan. How you doing, Dan?
Nice.
Lovely
Welcome to my
meet you.
home.
Lovely to meet you too. How you doing, sir?
I was in America recently. The first guy I hanged out with was a guy called Dan Burnside. Right now, Dan was the leader of the Pennsylvania chapter of the NSM, right? And I'll be honest with you, I was expecting like a proper redneck fucking hick, but he wasn't. He was like a really smart dude. He was smart about some dumb shit, right? But he was a smart dude.
This gentleman approaching us is Jason Reed, our local Baptist pastor.
Nice to meet you, Jason. How you doing?
Doing well, thank you.
Good. Good to hear. Your daughter's comfortable with the fact living near Nazi.
I prefer National Socialist.
My apologies.
That's okay.
My
That's
apologies.
okay. I feel like he already
Sounds
made a choice as far as multiculturalism by adopting those two girls. And he's made a choice for his son's futures by adopting
Really?
those two girls.
Are you a racist?
And it's really not skin color for me. I'm more of an anti-Semite. And I believe that
I've heard.
the biggest demon.
I guess that.
Would you think there should be another genocide?
I don't think there ever was genocide to begin with.
Sabrina, what do you think should happen to the Jews?
I think there should be another genocide. Or a genocide.
I like love my life.
You're all looking at me puzzled.
That's pretty hard.
Even my husband, you know?
When you say genocide, you mean the women, the children, the kids?
Absolutely.
Why?
How can she think like that and hold a kid on her? How is she allowed to be a mom? Not that people like are allowed or not allowed to be like moms and whatnot, but I don't want her being a mom.
She said
How
there
can
should
she
be another
say
genocide.
That?
Children and everything of Jewish people.
A few moments later.
What she just said.
How can you?
Even the husband was
Look at
surprised.
Moses, look at Moses.
Even the husband was surprised. Like,
Joe.
Wait. This was
No,
in
but
the
like,
He's
in
like-
all seriousness, like all laughs and jokes aside, how can someone think like that?
I feel like she, as a person, is just repeating what she's been taught. If you see the way she says it, you know, the way she expressed
very much like,
it's very passive.
like tattletale.
Yeah, it's very like second generation the way she's expressing.
that's
it,
the problem
right?
though. When you have when you stick to one ideal and you believe nothing else can be right.
The way I see it is these people have like they don't have a big, they have a very small mind. They don't think outside of their own thinking.
Yeah.
You know, like someone's had thought for them, and that's it. Which I think where a lot of our generation goes wrong is we always like just, you know, say, okay, well, we know better and we're better and fuck everyone else. Where the root of the problem is, you know, for example, if you think about, have you guys heard of the film, The Imitation Game?
Communications.
Everyone thinks Enigma is unbreakable.
Let me try, and we'll know for sure.
Mr. Tudor.
No.
It's about in World War II. I think it was World War II or World War One. The Germans had a code where they would send messages to each other.
Okay.
And the British eventually cracked the code, and they knew. So when the Germans were sending coded messages to each other, the British were able to crack the code, but they didn't start to like move ships out of the way of like danger, because they knew if they did that, then the Germans would know that they cracked the code.
Yeah.
So they played it strategically, and that's what, like, think about it. That's not what we're doing as people. We're not playing it strategically at all.
Yeah.
You know what? This raises a very like deep question. You know, where does free speech end, and where does it start? And that's a question that I don't even feel like I could answer. Like, I don't feel like I could answer that question.
For me, I think I can answer that. I think free speech ends when it's causing physical harm. So these guys could be as Nazi as they want, but unless they're actually going out and telling people, oh, kill these people, or they're actually going out killing those people, then they could say whatever the fuck they want.
So
they could call
no. But do you think it's right then? Because
I don't think it's. Go on. Sorry.
I see what Toby's point is.
No, in the sense, because free speech exists, do you think it's right for that guy to go up, let's say England, whatever, in Hyde Park and start trying to convert people into being neo-Nazis or whatever?
Well, that's what he just said, is as long as it's not causing violence.
As long as he's not saying, oh, kill those black people, then yeah.
Technically,
yeah,
it's not causing violence to tell people, follow neo-Nazis or whatever. It's like saying, oh, follow Christians.
But the
it's
thing,
like in the sense, like we're talking about, like,
the thing is with freedom of speech, what happens usually, the reason it's important, because what happens is the truth usually wins, and most people know the truth, that, you know, there's no superior race. So yeah, maybe you might get some people to join him at Hyde Park screaming that shit, but most people completely ignore him. And the thing about freedom of speech is, because he's free to say that, we're free to say he's wrong.
It's a fine line.
It is a fine line.
What causes violence and what doesn't.
But
I wouldn't want to go.
But in the UK, he couldn't actually legally do this, because this is classified as hate speech.
That's classified as hate speach. I don't know. I feel like everyone's got a right to their opinion.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But when you start preaching things that are you know, in the sense of speech, you know, violence.
Yeah.
I think that
I think that's where it crosses the line.
Like, if I have a view on something that is obviously not as controversial as this, but it's
if
still...
you have a view like
yeah, that's the thing with freedom of speech. There's like, you're free to say what you want to say, but you also have a responsibility to say what's right.
That's true.
And that's what a lot of people forget as well, freedom of speech. But I think, like, these people, of course they're wrong, but that's what they think is right.
That's what they think is right.
And if we told them they can't say what they think is right, then that same power could apply to us. That's the problem with restricting people. But yeah, we could tell, like, I'm not saying we shouldn't tell them they're wrong, because they are wrong, okay? We could all agree on that. But I'm just saying that, okay, at least let them express their ideas so we know where they're wrong, and then we could tell them how they're wrong.
Yes, sweetie. I don't need no help now. You always watch me make these. You say Sig Heil? Say Sig Heil. Sig Heil.
The little boy cannot be cycling in front of a swastika sign. He cannot be cycling in front. It's not even a swastika sign. It's a statue. It's a piece of wood that has a swastika like carved into it. It's like an eagle piece of wood with a swastika, and the child is just cycling around it.
So what I do is I go hang out with the pastor again, because the pastor kind of knows Dan better than I ever will.
Hey. How's it going?
How you doing, boss? Thank you for seeing me, man.
Good to see you, Jamal.
Thank you. Lovely home you have.
Well, thank you.
You see the conversation that we had with Sabrina and Daniel. But did anything that shock you?
It saddened me. Yeah.
But
again, it doesn't shock me. I know that they are a family that is acquainted with hardship. Very personal and very deep. So I know that they've had great bitterness of soul. And when you're in points like that, you have a number of choices. The easiest path to take is victimization, you know, because that makes me powerless and makes somebody else responsible for the wrongs that have happened to me, or the perceived wrongs, the lacks of opportunity that are there. You know, I would say that it might be a lot of the people espouse those same kind of feelings, and that might be a real drawing card to the NSM. I don't know.
In their area, there is a lot of poverty. So I feel like this is like, you know, because there's other people in that same area that think he's completely wrong. What's the difference with them? Probably education. The fact that they're not so poor and they had that opportunity to seek enlightenment.
I'm talking about explaining to these people that the land that they live on was taken from another race of people, first of all. Second of all, they're not superior to other races in any way.
Yeah. What it is that their life is very hard. And when your life is hard, you feel lost. It's very easy to cling on to something. That's when people get attached the most, because they don't feel a sense of purpose. No world where these guys are completely gone. But there's one thing I'll say to all you motherfuckers out there is that if you call everyone a white supremacist, then these guys aren't as bad, are they? Because that means that the value of, white supremacists that actually think, you know, white people are superior. Shit. Okay, someone that doesn't agree with you, white supremacists. So now you've just tipped the scale a bit more to their side. So now they're not as bad. Come on, people, please fix up on that. I hate that so much.
I know exactly what you're referring to.
You know, a demonstration of our power, or the Jewish power.
Remember that lady put the cat in the bit? Remember that bitch?
I don't remember that.
I remember that.
Oh shit.
She's an evil fucking woman, but she put a cat in the
I'll
bit.
find the video for you guys.
Right on CCTV. She literally grabbed that cat.
Did she at least try to recycle?
I
don't know, she put it in a bin. Doesn't matter which bin it went into, fam.
But maybe she cared about the environment. That's the most important thing.
Yeah, I don't think the cat affects the environment that badly.
Reduce, reuse, recycle.
So it's getting late now. It's like, oh god, I don't even want to check the time.
It is 2:40 a.m.
It's 2:40 a.m. in the United Kingdom. Yeah, so that was the YouTube video. Tell us what you think in the comments. Yeah, it was quite a crazy video, I think. But yeah, all I think is, obviously from the video, these people seem like normal people in my opinion. You could disagree, and you know, they're quite radicalized, and I think the problem there is just literally the environment they grew up in and the community around them.
But the environment you grow up in is basically the form of like how, like, it's like the form of the cake.
We try to look at it with more perspective. Nah, because of course they're still wrong. But yeah, that we try to look at it with more perspective. Mohsin's asleep now. But do you have any words to say about that video?
Like I said, the problem is education.
Yeah.
And we can sit here and fucking complain about this shit all day long, or we can solve the problem. You choose. I'm out.
On that note, we'll end the video. Thank you for watching. Like, subscribe. You know, it's still very early days, so a like means a lot. A subscribe means a lot. So yeah,
like
you should do both.
Make another account and then like it again.
And you should press the little bell. See you next time on Let's Talk About It.